Uh, so, for those not in the know, for whatever reason, like a few days ago, there was a leak that suggested some stuff with Sonic Generations
Hmm.
and possible Shadow expansion, and it turns out that's actually fully true, and it may be better than we thought.
Yeah, like some of you may have seen Twitter the past couple days. Everyone was of course making like Sonic and Shadow yaoi jokes because Sonic X Shadow is a hilarious name that they could have given this. But I was
Yeah.
pretty much like fully just expecting, okay, so it's going to be a shitty remaster of Sonic Generations because it's established they can't make remasters very well. And they're going to have like an episode Shadow type thing where Shadow runs through like Green Hill, City Escape and whatever, and it's slightly edited so it's harder, and he maybe gets a tiny little story thing. But no, it's much better than that. I think in every
Yeah,
way.
it's essentially a fully new story expansion, or maybe even game,
Hmm.
depending on how it plays.
Yeah,
Plus Sonic Generations, which I guess they added just so they could have an excuse to put the PC version on consoles. But I feel the main reason I feel like Generations is even here.
I think Generations is here for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think. Okay, so obviously from the trailers and everything, the Shadow portion of this, Shadow Generations, is a completely different project entirely from Generations. It doesn't use
Right.
any of the gameplay or graphics or anything. It looks like a whole new game. It looks like a Sonic Forces sequel in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm thinking happened was they wanted a Shadow spinoff for the movie coming this year, but they didn't have time to make a full game. So what they ended up doing was, hey, let's have Shadow go through his past and his memories and whatever. Call it Shadow Generations, and we'll include Sonic Generations as a like remaster bonus uh, to make it more of a Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury type situation.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm hoping that this is like something like the exact same length of Generations, because I think two games this length of Generations for $60, I think would be a pretty perfect price for it,
mhm.
assuming it's $60.
Yeah. I don't think Shadow Generations is gonna have like the extra content that Generations has, like the extra side missions, like the concept art or whatever going on. I think this is probably just gonna be a level and boss pack with like cutscenes and stuff. But I do hope it's at least as long as something like Sonic Forces, but
Mm-hmm.
I kind of doubt it because I don't know. I feel like they would have released it as its own game if it was like a quote unquote full length traditional Sonic game.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is probably going to be pretty short, like as an add on to Generations, because they're kind of treating it like
Yeah.
that, kind of treating it as its own thing. I don't know.
We'll just have to see. For now, we just don't really know about it, other than they are really focusing on a story with this.
Mm-hmm.
And as they've been doing recently with the Fast Friends Forever stuff, they've been trying to. It looks like they've been trying to give Shadow more of a blank slate. In the comics, he's much more. Is much more of a base character. Doesn't
Mm-hmm.
really have much development going. Just the most basic necessities you need to have Shadow in the current age of Sonic. So he's not a
Yeah.
villain. He's not a hero. He's just kind of there. Maria is a thing, but it's not that important.
Mm-hmm.
He may or may not use a gun. It's hard to say. But it looks like it was all in service to this. This is essentially looking based on the story update, which we'll read through eventually,
Yeah.
which we'll read through shortly. It is basically just a full retelling of the story that Shadow the Hedgehog, the game, wanted to tell, which is really really cool.
Yeah.
And if handled right, this could actually be the perfect companion to SA2 that we've never really gotten.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, because Heroes had a decent setup, but Shadow just absolutely failed
Yeah,
on all ends of the
absolutely.
story.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I completely agree with that. This sort of like it is, they're calling it Shadow Generations, so it is um what was I saying? It is Shadow like going back in time to his past stuff. But it looks like this is going to have a significant more amount of story to go with it compared to the regular generations, because just in the short bit of gameplay we have the space colony arc as a level, we have Black Doom fucking with Shadow, and we have
It also kind of looks like it's a Phantom Ruby thing, if you haven't noticed.
yeah,
Like, I
like
don't know if anyone's been really talking about that, but it looks like they're doing some Phantom Ruby style illusions,
mm-hmm,
which may separate this from Generations, that this isn't the Time Eater, and it's completely separate from Generations, but something with the Phantom Ruby
dude,
and the Return of Black Doom.
dude,
Uh,
I just thought of this. So Shadow has had like three quote unquote big villains. One of them is debatable, but he's had three quote unquote big villains in the Sonic series. One was Black Doom. Uh,
obviously.
the next was Mephiles, and and then we have Infinite over there, kind of doing his own thing.
I was gonna say the Biolizard, honestly. I think the Biolizard is more representative
Well,
for Shadow
the
than Infinite ever
the
was.
Biolizard wasn't really a villain, much more so an obstacle to overcome, because
Yeah, that's fair.
Shadow, in that fight against the Biolizard was kind of proving to himself that he is the one and only true Shadow, the one and only ultimate life form that there
I
is.
think they also have Radical Highway here.
Yes, so I wanted to talk
Yeah,
about
forgot about talk about
I
that.
wanted to talk about the stage, because it looks like, to me, it looks like that we saw like three stages, but the way the trailer plays out and how everything looks to me, this is just game theory here. I think what we saw was just one big level, because if you paid attention in the trailer, Shadow's going through the space colony arc, Black Doom's eye appears, and then the space colony arc around him, it starts crumbling and twisting and turning and everything, and then suddenly he's in a city that kind of
Yeah,
looks like Westopolis or Radical Highway or whatever. Uh,
Station Square.
so I think potentially what we saw here was the first of hopefully more than just one stage,
Hmm.
where it's Shadow going through some past stuff. He goes through several stages in one, and it ends with maybe the Biolizard boss fight. But I genuinely do not know. That's complete speculation. We only saw like 30 seconds of footage of
Yeah,
this thing.
this is something else I wanted to bring up. I wonder if they're trying to delve more back into the philosophy of SA2,
Mm-hmm.
where you got Sonic, which is more focused on gameplay and lighthearted action, and you got Shadow or
Mm-hmm.
the Team Dark, which is way more focused on story.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what I'm guessing is happening here, because Sonic Generations is obviously pretty light on story, more focused on gameplay. But now we're taking that concept and using it for Shadow and adding its story to it.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the modern day SA2 almost, with how it's presented.
Kinda, yeah. The issue with that is the fact that Generations was already a thing that happened.
Yeah, yeah. It's more of a light thing, but I think there is a connection there. Obviously, these probably aren't going to be interconnected stories. I don't think this is going to tie into Generations at all, because, well, what's there to tie into? There's Generations
Well,
doesn't have a story.
yeah, you're entirely right. I think the idea is that this is what Shadow was doing during Sonic Generations, because as we'll soon read in the blog post, they say it's a parallel storyline to Sonic Generations.
Okay.
So I think what it is maybe Sonic fights Shadow in Generations, and then Shadow goes on his weird time travel trip.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know. They're just clearly playing a lot into the SA2 nostalgia because that's how they're presented in the logo. And then also when Shadow's introduced, he does his exact pose from Adventure 2's logo art.
mhm.
So
Yeah, and that reveal, by the way, was such like a Smash Brothers character reveal moment, where it's
yeah.
like the standard Generations trailer, and then suddenly Shadow like bursts in between the two Sonics. It was such a good moment. I was waiting for it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now, obviously, this isn't Frontiers.
yes.
It's going to have its own musical identity, but good God, please, please, please bring in the 9-string guitar or 8-string guitar, whatever was used. I want the metal tracks back.
I'm really worried that because, as we can see from this trailer, it does look very cyberspacey, Phantom Ruby like
No, no,
trip.
no, no. No. I know what you're thinking, but this comes. Bring in Mick Gordon.
They're not.
We've been playing Doom. Imagine, okay, Shadows had a synth rock heavy soundtrack, and with Sonic Frontiers going to more of a metal style instead of more of a hard rock style. Mick Gordon, man, like imagine the Doom soundtrack for Shadow.
I think either Jun Senoi or Tomoyo Otani could probably pull something like that off, but not as well. But they're not gonna get Mick Gordon for this.
That'd be amazing, though.
It would be. But like I was saying, I'm kind of worried that this is gonna be like Tomoyo Otani doing more dubstep EDM tracks for this, like remixes, dubstep EDM remixes of these level themes.
Yeah, if this is closer to Forces in terms of gameplay, I could see that happening, and that would be a bit of a disappointment. I am a little bit tired of it. I don't think it fits the style of Sonic super well.
Mm-hmm.
That most of those tracks aren't as memorable.
Yeah,
Oh, we can only remain hopeful. I personally really hope Jun Sonoe returns for it. I think
me too.
he much better. I think he has a perfect sound for Shadow, and I think throughout the years, other than Forces, he's almost always been the one composing for Shadow.
Mm-hmm.
Other than 06, which granted, I think Tomoyo Otani did a great job for 06,
Yeah,
but outside of cutscenes, Shadow doesn't really have unique music at all.
yeah,
And I think the general cutscene score is the same for all three characters, fitting the tone rather than the characters.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the character themes don't play as much into 06 as before.
Yeah,
But it should be noted that his character theme was still Jun Sonoe and Crush 40.
mm-hmm.
So if you want to count that. And then Shadow's only other really big appearance since was Black Knight, which was still Jun Sonoe.
Yeah,
And then, of course, Forces, where all the tracks were remakes of Jun Sonoe or past Shadow tracks. I shouldn't say Jun Sonoe because it was mostly from
Yeah.
the Kamatani tracks
you know,
from SA2.
I got a couple things to respond to that with, but since you brought up episode Shadow, I just wanted to say, because I said this to Crazy Armor off camera, but this is really what episode Shadow should have been, because you have
Yeah.
Infinite, who wields the power of the damn Phantom Ruby. He's basically the Sonic Mysterio. He could have delved into the mind of Shadow the Hedgehog and like pulled up all this weird shit and had him like going from different locations from his past in this weird trippy fucking way that this is doing. This is exactly what like I was hoping to see from Infinite and Forces, and we just didn't. So maybe it's kind of a response to that in some way, because this is like I said earlier, this is obviously like Sonic Forces 2 starring Shadow the Hedgehog. So I don't know. I feel like this is like just a really cool direction to take like a Shadow game. And Shadow has so many, like I was talking about earlier, Shadow has so many cool villains that like they could all be fucking with him, or like whoever's the main bad guy here could be like using the images of those guys to fuck with him. Like it's such a good idea. Do you think we will get a cutscene with like an updated cutscene of like Shadow and Maria on the Ark or something.
I am really, really hoping so, since they are focusing on story.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Obviously, some of the social media posts for Sonic within recent years have been doing some justice towards that relationship. Like, we got the one of Shadow and Maria in school, which
Mm-hmm.
was adorable.
Yeah.
So I think there is a decent chance of it, but of course you can't really pull everything all out from the social media team.
Yeah.
They are basically their own department at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm hoping, and I don't think this will happen, but I'm really hoping they get what's his name?
Gerald?
Shiro Matsueda.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm hoping they get him to return to write for Shadow, because
Mm-hmm.
I think that it still has been easily the best Shadow writing.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much the only Shadow writing, actually, because Forces doesn't really count.
Um, I mean, there's Meikawa. Is that?
Shiro Maekawa, that's his name.
Yeah,
Fuck.
that's why I
Okay,
was
I
confused.
said
I
the
was
wrong
like,
name.
no, definitely Meikawa wrote for him. But Meikawa had like a prodigy successor that he kind of trained up on the Sonic series, but that guy like never really got to do anything for the Sonic series. I forget his name.
Maybe this game? I don't know. We'll have
Maybe
to
I
see.
would fucking love
Because
that.
I really hope they are, because they are bringing Black Doom into this and elements of Shadow the Hedgehog. They are well aware of the reception towards that game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I really hope they have the proper foresight to handle it with care.
Yeah.
Uh, Obviously with Superstars and Frontiers, a lot of story elements kind of have our trust shaken. But with both of those games, there have been elements of hope.
Yes.
Obviously, Ian Flynn becoming a story writer for a lot of this has been a big one. I do hope he's involved in some way,
Mm-hmm.
because I think he just has a general good understanding of
Yeah.
Sonic. He has his own quirks as a writer, but a lot of what he's written has been the best since '06 Shadow and Unleashed. So,
Mm.
or not Shadow, SA2. Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope there's that, and then this kind of leads me into my other big point of concern that we just won't know until it releases. Who the fuck is making this game? We know it's Sonic Team, but clearly, all the quote unquote current main team working on Frontiers, they did not make this. I'm going to assume. Obviously they made Frontiers. They spent a lot of time working on patches. I don't know if it's the full team working on all of those and Update
Yeah.
3. But either way, a lot of Sonic Team worked on Frontiers, so who is making this is the question. Could my B team theory be correct? But if so, what were they doing? Were they just all on Phantasy Star Online 2? Which frankly seems to be where a lot of it goes. I don't know.
I don't know. To me, it feels like this game very much pulls in the Sonic Forces direction, in the like the cinematic like action happening mid stage, just the like, if you look at some of the levels in the trailer, like we didn't see many, but all of them are like very straight and narrow, blocky sort of level designs, like Sonic Forces,
Yeah,
Sonic
I
Colors.
am concerned about the level design right now.
I am,
just from what the little we've seen.
I am also concerned. I did see a couple alternate paths in the short brief time that we had there, but there's also the chance that this is like a one big level sort of thing and not much more. but I'm hoping it's not.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's several stages. I hope it's enough to be considered its own game, because they are considering its own game. Because Sonic X Shadow Generations, if we read the description of the YouTube video, which I'll do real quick, Shadow the Hedgehog is back with modern and classic Sonic and Sonic X Shadow Generations, an all-new collection featuring 2 unique experiences.
So I wonder if based on that they really both then the Shadow game is going to be the same thing as Generations, if they're putting that much focus on it.
I hope so, because then it would essentially be what I have hoped for, what we were sort of talking about in our Frontiers and Dream Team commentaries, it would essentially be a whole new quote unquote traditional 3D Sonic title. You know?
Yeah. Here's something else also to look at. This it looks like Shadow's not just going to be a Sonic clone in this.
Yeah.
Featuring all never before seen powers and abilities that prove why he's known as the ultimate life form. Obviously, I'm going to assume no guns.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to assume that, as much as I would love to see that return.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
So this is very interesting.
From what, yeah, they're definitely emphasizing Shadow has his own gameplay. Obviously, he still has the boost just based on the trailer and the homing attack. But in the blog post, I gotta find it. They basically say this is the ultimate combination of classic Sonic, modern Sonic, and Shadow gameplay. So the yeah, here it is. Oh yeah, it's that's the quote from Azuka. Okay. With Shadow's portion of the title, players will get to know him more as a character and understand his motivations. It will create the ultimate celebration of classic Sonic, modern Sonic, and Shadow gameplay that all fans will surely enjoy. And in the trailer, we did also see Shadow can use Chaos Spear.
Yeah, I saw that in like the BioLizard fight.
Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if he has more chaos powers. Like, what if they bring back the meters from Shadow the Hedgehog, where you can chaos control or you can chaos blast? Because there are like enemy combat sections. It looks like based on the footage.
Here's something interesting though. There's a section in what almost looks like Speed Highway, like the Speed Highway helicopter pad. He's attacking some of the SA2 gun robots.
And
it looks like he's launching them to a portal from 06, which is interesting. Like Iblis. It looks like Iblis to me.
That section to me looked more Westopolis-ish.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
But it looks like a very simplified version of it because, like, I think the like Space Colony Arc stage probably uses some Generations assets because, you know, that already has some assets for the Space Colony Arc, but it looks like Radical Highway and especially what I think to be Westopolis look very simplified graphically.
Here's something else that's interesting I noticed. Sorry to interrupt you, but Shadow doesn't have a traditional homing attack in this.
No, he teleports.
Yeah. That's a really cool detail.
It's really cool, but it looks like it probably won't matter that much, but to me it looks like kind of the Avatar's homing attack from Forces.
Yeah, there's a pause delay in it. I wonder if this is going to have a combat focus to it, just because there are more abilities, and I wonder if that's why it has that pause, so something like 06.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely some kind of combat focus, because like we said, we did see that one section where there's like 5 robots in a big box and you have to defeat them all before you can continue.
Yeah, there's I'm looking at the Chaos Spear section right now, and he's fighting something completely different. I have no idea what that's supposed to be. It's like a robot with tentacle arms.
That's the BioLizard.
Is it?
Yes. Because if you look at the first clip of...
Oh, I see it. Yeah. I see it.
If you look at the first clip of the BioLizard, the, like, wires get detached from his, like, life support system. And then I guess he uses the, like, pink orbs from the original fight to just turn it into a new arm. That's kind of what it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like all this stuff at the end here is just the BioLizard.
Yeah. Which is fucking dope, by the way. I was not like, that's a thing with this. Like, I told you guys what I was expecting beforehand. Like, it was just going to be a simple level pack with maybe a little bit of story and not much else. I was not expecting to see all of this fucking love for, like, Adventure and Shadow the Hedgehog. Adventure 2 and Shadow the Hedgehog. Like, at all. I was not expecting a BioLizard fight, and it's a new BioLizard fight entirely because there was a BioLizard fight in Generations 3DS.
I was just about to make a joke about that.
Yeah. And God knows we're not getting the Generations 3DS stuff. So, like, So we have a new Bio-Lizard fight, and the Bio-Lizard himself looks fucking really cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Bio.
but
Oh, sorry.
yeah, we have that. We have I never expected to see Black Doom ever again. And then we also have just the fact that the logo of the game has the Shadow the Hedgehog symbol from the game.
Yeah. Like
Like
this is a fucking reboot. This is like a reboot of Shadow the Hedgehog the game, and I love it. I'm here for it.
as the resident Shadow the Hedgehog fanboy,
Yeah.
this looks like they're like, here, have your Shadow game the way you've always wanted, and I'm just so fucking happy.
Yeah, the logo for the game itself though is a little awkward. It's very asymmetrical. The more I look at it, the more it grows on me. But when I first saw it, it's like, really?
Yeah,
it's kind of weird.
like also
But the more I'm looking at it, the better it is. I think.
it's partially weird because they didn't at all use the original Generations logo as a base. It's like completely new everything.
Yeah.
And then like the Shadow logo that I was talking about is like tilted to the side. I guess so it doesn't overlap with Sonic's name that much.
Yeah, it's like I think it's the black arm symbol or something.
Yeah. And then you have the X, which is like the two slashes, and that looks very Sonic Unleashed to me.
It looks a little closer to some of the stuff from Frontiers, actually. At least for me. Because it's the red and the black, kind of like,
Yeah.
you remember the slashes from the Wyvern fight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
a little closer to that.
I'm more so talking about just the fact that Unleashed has that slash through the logo, and it's like in a very similar sort of fashion, just with different colors.
Yes. Speaking of Frontiers, whoever did the cinematic direction during the Supersonic fights better be involved with this. And we better get Super Shadow. Imagine Super Shadow with whoever directed the Supersonic 2 stuff.
Dude, he's like
so
flying around Black Doom, beating the shit out of him.
Yeah, we've only seen the Eye of Black Doom.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't wait to see what he looks like as Black Doom proper in this game.
Yeah.
And I really hope he's not voiced by Sean Schemmel this time.
I also want to say I'm so happy that the Space Colony arc is one of the playable stages in this game, because that was something I was really hoping for with Generations, but we got City Escape, which is obviously the pick you go with for that game. But like, I love Final Rush and Final Rush specifically, but Final Rush and Final Chase are fucking awesome. I love them to death. And we just haven't, other than the Shadow boss fight in Generations, we never got to see like an updated version of the arc ever. Because even in Shadow the Hedgehog, they had arc levels. It looked like it just used the SA2 graphics, but, you know.
Yeah, they just look so much less impressive from SA2.
Yeah.
Also, I'm looking at the arc screenshot that we have on the PlayStation blog.
Mm-hmm.
It is a sick looking arc. I love how much it actually looks like a city, and like actually a colony now, with all the windows and shit. I still have no idea why the rails are here, but like rails being in Sonic, actually they kind of look like, at least the one he's on, kind of looks like a transportation system.
Yeah, kind of. And it looks like the one above him is a slightly different route, that probably a shortcut that he could have taken. But I'm like looking at this now, this screenshot, and I know we can't see much above it, but it kind of looks like the big like metal glowing pillars that are always a part of the arc aesthetic. They don't look like they're necessarily attached to anything. Like the arc itself isn't there or something. But I don't know if that's just because we can't see up there, but like I can see space in like a lot of the background.
It's giving me some Final Fortress vibes from Sonic Heroes.
Yeah, the level
where you can see the ship as a PNG in the background, and then the level does not make sense in the context of that PNG.
Yeah. Oh, I'm also looking at this image now. Like at the far back of the rail there, you can see like a bunch of asteroids, and then from behind that it looks like a platforming section. You'll probably have to homing
Yeah.
attack the asteroids to get over to this rail. Maybe you can homing attack rails in this game, like Generations. That would be fucking nice. Because you can't do that in Forces. Or Frontiers.
Yeah.
So... Yeah, I'm just over analyzing this shit because this is who I am.
This is kind of unrelated, but in the PlayStation blog written by someone from Sega, they talk about some of the games Shadow was in, and they bring up both Heroes and Sonic Battle.
Yes.
Please release Heroes. Also Sonic Battle, you know, PlayStation, you know, Nintendo has you know, GBA games available on their Switch. Sonic Battle could be there too, with a more comfortable control scheme. Just saying.
Yeah.
I'd play it.
So we're gonna have a level where we have to fight Emerald from Sonic Battle.
Now, however, they do not mention Sonic 06 in this, which is
Yeah,
funny.
that's something I was gonna ask you, because yeah, they don't mention 06 at all. In the trailer, we don't see anything from 06. Do you think
It's not canon, like I said. I win.
Yeah, but Crisis City isn't there. In Generations.
Yeah, and that's a weird future that never happened. Because it's not canon. Is Generations really canon?
I mean, probably because Sonic Forces is canon and Classic Sonic's there, and so
This is what did I say before, that the Mania timeline created from Generations and Forces is the one that leads to 06. Sonic learns the homing attack too early and gains secret knowledge, and this leads him to go to Soliana and do something different. No. That's not what changed. Because he does the homing attack early, Solaris becomes a thing.
the butterfly effect to the max. Holy shit.
The time eater goes into a world that has Solaris, despite being in a world that doesn't have Solaris, and that's what happened. So you see, Mania is actually the original timeline before 06 happened, creating our current timeline, which then led to Generations.
Or each stage in Generations is its own different timeline. Because
Now you're thinking.
there were no guillotines and confetti in Rooftop Run in Sonic Unleashed.
That is true. This is another effect of Solaris being a thing.
Exactly. And you know, technically
that is another
all the
festival worshipping Solaris.
Yeah. And if you look at it, all the level designs are different. We never saw these level designs before. You know, they're completely different versions of Green Hill Zone and Chemical Plant and shit.
Exactly. Because, you see, here's the thing. Solaris in 06 is a real tangible god. Because of this, other cultures around the world worship him. In the current timeline, because Solaris is more of a myth, he's only celebrated in Soliana because they're the original religion that created him. And without him actually existing to offer proof, you know, no one else is going to believe in him. Which is why, in current timeline, Spagonia, there is no festival going on. Offering sacrifices to Solaris with guillotines.
In Spagonia.
And apparently, Solaris being a thing also puts rockets on the gun truck.
Rockets and buzzsaws.
Yeah. This is my theory.
And it also gave perfect chaos armor. It makes perfect sense.
Perfect Chaos looks significantly better in the world with Solaris.
Yeah.
Because the world with Solaris has that Square Enix CGI. budget.
Yeah, and the real world is just like Nintendo 64 graphics.
Yes. Yes.
I think this tangent has been very insightful.
No, actually, you brought up that the of all the levels could be from different timelines. Those are from the timelines of the other Shadow the Hedgehog timelines.
Oh my god, all 10 of them. Holy shit.
You see, that's why it's inside. That's why they're bringing Shadow Sonic Generations. It makes sense.
You know, also thinking about it, that's why the Metal Sonic boss is in the bad future.
Exactly. Exactly.
Dude. Dude, Generations
I
is
want to
just
write this on a whiteboard.
Generations is just a clusterfuck now. Anyways, do you want to read the blog post? Or do you want me to do it?
Let me take a quick look so I don't reread the same stuff. Yeah, it's time for classic and modern to reunite in a master collection with iconic 2D and 3D levels.
Well, we do have to talk about Sonic Generations at some point this recording session.
Do we have to?
Yes, because
All we can tell is it's just Sonic Generations.
listen, I will direct this part, okay?
Okay.
So, before we get to the blog post entirely. So, like we were talking about earlier, one credible leaker after another just kept adding fuel to the fire over the past 2 to 3 days about this supposed Sonic Generations remaster. And of course, online, everyone was freaking out because there's a good chance, because this happened with Origins, there's a good chance that they will delist the original Sonic Generations with this remaster.
Yeah, will this make the original undownloadable at all? I don't know.
Like if you already own it, you'll probably be able to re-download it. But
because like, can I re-download Sonic 3 in the original classic 2D games?
I don't
like. I've never uninstalled them because of Air, but
I've never uninstalled it, and I'm worried that if I do, I won't be able to. So that's an experiment for another day. But anyways, with Sonic Origins, they released that game, and they fully delisted the original Genesis versions of Sonic 1, 2, 3 and Knuckles, and even the original remaster of Sonic CD by Taxman from all platforms except mobile. Because the Sonic CD remaster is still on mobile, along with Sonic 1 and 2. And that is such a stupid thing. It wouldn't have mattered that much if the classic mode in Sonic Origins just used the ROMs anyway, so we still had an access to the Genesis ROMs. But now there is no legal way to obtain the original versions of Sonic 1, 2, 3 and Knuckles, or the original remaster of Sonic CD. And that is a problem. Because the Origins version is not perfect. There's a lot of bugs, especially at launch.
I brought up Air earlier, and that's kind of the only quote-unquote legit way that the developer Air wants you to play it is by purchasing the Steam versions.
Yeah, because that was the easiest legal way to get the Sonic 3 and Knuckles ROM, and now it's gone. And like I said, the Origins version is in a lot of ways inferior to the original Genesis versions and even the original remasters of Sonic 1, 2, and CD. And for Sonic 3 and Knuckles, it's especially bad because now we don't have any version of 3 and Knuckles with its original soundtrack. And that version of 3 and Knuckles is buggy as hell because Sega didn't give Stealth Headcanon enough time to make that port or that remaster. So, if the
actually, from what I can tell of it, it was mostly complete and it was working really, really well, and that a lot of the glitches in it were not present when he made it.
Interesting.
And that was more of an implementation thing. He made a Twitter post about it.
Okay.
Which I'm surprised he was legally allowed to do. Maybe that's why we haven't seen anything since. I don't know.
Yeah. That's concerning as well. But Anyways, there's a good chance that the same thing will happen with Sonic Generations because of this re-release here. And that's a problem because Sonic Generations is one of, if not the best, officially made Sonic the Hedgehog video games. um, and
I'll disagree, but yes.
and you wouldn't even put it in your top 5.
What?
Where would Generations fall for you?
You said it was the best. I said
I
don't
said
think it is the best.
I said one of, if not the best. That includes.
Oh, then yeah, it can go in the top. It can go in the top category.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, and based on the past remasters of Sonic the Hedgehog that we have had, none of them have been good. So far, this looks more like a port than a remaster, but we don't know yet because it looks very early.
Yeah, this just looks like Sonic Generations every time I see a screenshot or any footage of it.
It does. It just
according to this, it is supposed to be redone graphics. Maybe not redone. I think touched up on.
See,
you did note earlier, before we started this, that there was potentially some bloom.
Yeah, some of the screenshots look really fuzzy to me. I don't know if that's just because it's a bad screenshot. I'm sure if you're paying attention while editing, you'll have some screenshots up of it right now. But if not, that's fine. It kind of looks a little fuzzy to me. Like, I don't know what it is. Even during the trailer, it kind of had that same effect. It's especially noticeable in City Escape more than anything. But yeah, if they release a remaster of Generations and then delist the original, even if it's just a straight port, this is probably going to have de novo, which means there will be no modding support for this version of Sonic Generations, which will have basically killed the last 13 years of the Sonic fan community in regards to this game. And yeah, it's not a good look there because it's potentially going to be a buggier release of the original game, because that's just what we've come to expect with these remasters with Colors Ultimate and Origins. So yeah, it's a big problem if they delist the original, and that is the big controversial topic with this release here.
Yeah, kind of moving back to the blog post, since we do technically have to read it because I said we would. We do get a kind of plot synopsis of Generations, which is interesting. I don't even know why they're bothering to explain the story, but I guess they are taking it somewhat seriously. Might as well read it. The original Sonic Generations provided an unforgettable experience to Sonic fans old and new, as it combined nostalgia from the early days of Sonic with the latest modern Sonic gameplay at the time. Oh, that's an interesting mark. At the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, this game is over a decade old. Fuck.
Yep. I just said 13 years.
Yeah. The story centers around Sonic and friends as their universe is thrown into chaos when an ominous power appears, creating time holes. Ooh, time holes. Not an alternate dimension. Hint, hint. Fuck you, forces. Which takes Sonic and his friends back in time. While in the past, Sonic runs into some familiar faces, including a classic version of himself. Together, they must team up to defeat enemies, save their friends, and find out who's behind this diabolical deed. So yeah, just the Generations plot.
They didn't even mention time.
And it's really
either.
funny that when it's so funny reading this that even when they type this, they know that Forces does not make sense. With the explanations given in that. Maybe this is a Japanese to English thing. Maybe it's the same explanation between the two in Japanese. I don't know.
Yeah.
But as far as I can tell, between both games, they were written in English first anyways, so it doesn't make sense still.
Yeah.
So, on top of this, of course, we get a description for Shadow. So, let me read through that real quick.
Okay, also, wait, real quick. It's kind of, I'm like, maybe I'm reading too much into this, but the way they're describing Generations in terms of like the game itself, it's feeling like they're just treating this as like as a straight port to me, because They say it's time for classic Sonic and modern Sonic to reunite, which is kind of weird, in a remastered collection of iconic 2D and 3D Sonic levels. And that remastered collection of iconic 2D and 3D Sonic levels is what I want to touch on, because that is just what Generations is. It's a remastered collection of iconic 2D and 3D Sonic
I
levels.
wouldn't call that a remastered collection, a full remake collection.
No.
Like, those are the levels, and they have the themes and ideas of those levels, but they are completely different levels from anything the original.
Yeah, but a lot of times the word remake and remaster in this sort of sense kind of go hand in hand. So
yeah,
them using the word remastered in this blog post doesn't to me sound like this is a remastered version of Generations. It's to me sounding like they're just using it as a way to describe the classics levels being in Generations, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's just because that plot description is literally just probably very close to the back of the box description of the 360 version.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just Generations.
It's to me it's seeming more and more like this is just a straight port. I'm kind of expecting them to maybe add something to Generations, but
You're saying it's a port, but like, is it really going to be a port for PC, or is it just going to be them re-releasing the PC edition but with Denuvo and the Shadow expansion?
I'm calling it a
because
port.
I think it'd be a port for modern consoles at least.
That's why I'm calling it a port. I'm just calling it a port because they're porting it to all the modern systems. Like the PC version, it's whatever. I'm probably not even going to buy the PC version. I'm probably going to buy the PS5 version, if anything. But that's kind of what like I'm trying to say is that I think it's just going to be just Sonic Generations straight. Nothing more, nothing less. Maybe tiny tweaks here and there. Hopefully not big tweaks.
Yeah.
Like Colors Ultimate did. But like I can see them adding some new additions, like maybe some new skills in the item shop, maybe some new music from later Sonic games in the music gallery thing. But like I don't really expect Generations to be any different. If anything, it'll be a bad like re-release and just have some additional bugs because it's a re-release.
This is something on the Steam page. It does say newly remastered versions of iconic 2D and 3D stages with upgraded visuals and bonus content.
Yeah.
Now, assuming this is applying only to this version of the game and not just the base game, there could be some new stuff.
There could be, but
it's hard to tell if it's that or if it literally is just the old game being described as it was back when it released. I can't tell.
This is exactly why Generations getting a remaster is a stupid idea. It's so confusing the way this is being described because, like you just said, the thing you just said is exactly what Generations already is. It's the classic levels and new graphics, new level designs with a bunch of bonus content.
I am willing to admit that I feel the only reason I even want this is purely Shadow Generations.
Yes.
I do not give a shit about Generations being released because I think, like Unleashed, it is perfect as its original release in terms of graphics and style and gameplay. I only care about Shadow Generations.
Yeah.
That is all I am here for.
Like,
as long as they keep Sonic Generations in exactly the same state as it was before in terms of, bugginess and graphics and gameplay, we're cool. I don't care. But I just want Shadow.
Yeah, that's how I'm feeling as well. I'm all for porting Generations to newer consoles. I think a lot of people younger fans of Sonic probably can't play Generations because maybe they don't have a PC or an Xbox 360 or an Xbox Series X or something.
Is it not available on PlayStation at all?
It's on PS3 only. Well, it's on.
Well, then get fucked. Get an Xbox.
I believe it's on PlayStation subscription service as like a streaming game. But you don't want to stream Sonic games. I will just say that right now. That is the worst idea. because you need the reaction time to be as quick
Yeah,
as
yeah, yeah.
possible and everything. But yeah, so those are the only ways to play Generations. Is if you have a PC, you don't need a powerful PC because this is a very old game, but you need a PC or a 360 or a Series X or a PS3, and that's pretty much
Yeah.
all you can play. So I'm all for this game coming to PS5, Xbox. Well, it's already on Xbox One Series X, but I'm all for this coming to
Yeah, get
PS4,
wrecked.
PS5, and the Nintendo Switch and whatever. But like for
Hmm.
me, I already have this game on everything imaginable. I'll gladly get it on like my PS5, like I was saying. But I'm really in this for Shadow Generations because that's the new thing. That's the thing I haven't played every every waking second for the last 13 years of my life. Generations is by far my most played Sonic game. The only close seconds are 3 and K and SA2. Um, like Mania would be up there, but it's more recent, so I just inherently haven't played it as much. But like Generations, I've played this game to death and back. I literally just a couple weeks ago 100%ed it on my Series X just because I could.
Yeah.
Before I knew anything about a Generations remaster happening or anything. So, uh yeah, I'm definitely in this for Shadow Generations, especially as we were talking about earlier. It just looks so fucking cool. It's so
Yeah.
like I don't I could give
Like
two
Shadow hasn't looked this cool since his own game.
yeah.
Like that, like this is the closest we've ever gotten to him having that cool factor he had in his intro with I Am All of Me playing.
Hmm. A somewhat Black Knight, but he doesn't have a lot of screen time in Black Knight anyways, so
Yeah,
um
this is his adventure.
yeah,
This is his.
this is his.
Sonic can fuck off.
Yeah. Dude, imagine though, it's like Shadow Generations, but it's for every appearance that Shadow's been in as a playable character. So we get like SA2 Heroes Shadow, of course, and then we also get like '06, which, makes sense. But then we also get, episode Shadow. So then the last stage,
Black Knight and Battle.
I meant more so the mainline entries.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I would love a Black Knight stage, but what I'm getting at is Sonic Generations starts with Green Hill. Shadow Generations ends with Green Hill.
That'd be cool.
from Sonic Forces.
That'd be kind of cool. Um, as far as bonus content goes, I wonder if they'll add more music to Jukebox to cover the game since Generations.
Yeah.
I think would be cool.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about
And
earlier.
if bonus content is any more significant than just more art and stuff like that, perhaps maybe we'd get a stage for Lost World, Forces, and Frontiers. I highly, highly doubt it,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying there is room there for a new era.
There
We could call it, I don't know, the
the patch era.
no, the I don't know, the
Parkour era.
I some kind of era. Point is, we got free games. They got free levels that I'm sure we could use.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, probably the sky level from Lost World, the I don't know, Luminous Jungle or Prison Hall or something from maybe cyberspace
No, no, no.
from
You're completely you're getting
the
it
Phantom Ruby or whatever.
you're getting it completely wrong. What it's going to be is Windy Hill, Green Hill, and Green Hill Cyberspace.
But Green Hill Cyberspace has the layout of Windmill Isle.
Or no, it'll just be the Frontiers version of the Generations Green Hill stage.
Yes. The only difference is the music.
Yeah, it'll just be random EDM.
Yes.
Dropaholic.
I'd be okay with that. Dropaholic better be in the jukebox. Jukebox for Generations.
And you know what? Bonus level Splash Hill from Sonic 4.
Yes, yes, because 2D Sonic would get stages too. That means.
Yes. Oh no, we forgot Green Hill from Mania.
Fuck that too! Yay! And Superstars.
This is Green Hill has been used too many times. Oh my god.
You know what's bad is this is the game that started it too.
I know. Well, Sonic 4, technically. Sonic 4 came out
Shut up!
a year
No one
earlier.
cares. No one cares about that game.
The Generations is the first game anyone cares about that started this.
All right, jokes aside, let's finish out this block.
Yeah.
So, on top of the remaster of the original Sonic Generations, fans will get to experience new content and play as Shadow the Hedgehog as he embarks on his own journey parallel to Sonic's. So yeah, this is parallel to Generations. Yeah, fuck me, I was wrong. Moving on. Shadow was first introduced in 2001's platformer Sonic Adventure 2 and has been seen in various titles, including Sonic Heroes, Sonic Battle, and his own spin-off title, Shadow the Hedgehog. He was created to be the ultimate life form with incredible speed, ferocious strength, and a rare ability called Chaos Control. I like the I wonder if there's going to be any significance with it being called a rare ability. Because I know it's touched on in SA2 that Sonic can induce Chaos Control as well, but he never directly says Chaos Control. This isn't really brought up as a big thing until 06.
Sonic actually does say Chaos Control during the boss.
Oh, I'm thinking of him shouting Sonic Wind.
Yeah, he also does, I'll use your Chaos Control!
Okay, fair enough.
But,
well,
like, the thing with Chaos Control being a rare ability, technically the only characters that have ever used it are Sonic, Shadow, and Silver.
yeah, that's what I was getting at.
So they have some special
Blaze
connection.
have both been included in that Fast Friends Forever bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't seen anything with them yet, game-wise. Rouge and Omega, I also assume are going to make an appearance somewhere in this. I think that's too much of a missed opportunity not to, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Let me finish this out real quick.
Well, hold on. I'm sorry to interrupt you again,
okay.
but you were talking about other characters there, and I just had this mind-bogglingly cool idea to the point where it'll never happen. What if they use...
Don't tell us.
No, listen.
Because now we'll wish for it.
Listen, what if they use this Generations platform to give the characters that were in that game their own small Generation-style experience, like we're getting for Shadow? So we could have a Silver Generations, maybe a Knuckles Generations, you know, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
It'd be a nice way, like, because we were talking about this is kind of the continuation of the traditional 3D Sonic gameplay. You could do that with all the other characters and still have it be a similar gameplay, but they have their own abilities, like Shadow has Chaos Spear and stuff. It would be really fucking
we'll have to
cool.
see how that's implemented.
Well, yeah. It'd be really fucking cool. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I'll finish this off then. By harnessing the power of a Chaos Emerald, he can stop time and warp to new positions. He's always on the lookout for dangers to the world and protects Earth in honor of an old friend. So that is pretty in line with the ending of the original Shadow.
It's
and I think it's pretty cool if they're going to challenge that with Black Doom returning.
I would disagree. It's not necessarily that in line with the ending of Shadow the Hedgehog, because Shadow at the end of that game decides to fight for himself and nobody else.
That is true.
And that's
maybe this is the full retcon of Shadow the Hedgehog as a game then. Maybe this is the first time him and Black Doom are meeting. Probably not, but yeah. This is most likely just going to be Generations style bullshit, bringing Black Doom to challenge Shadow ideologically once again.
Yeah, I agree, and I hope we get to see some more of the Black Arms as well, not just.
I hope This Is Who I Am is a line somewhere in the game. I don't care what the context is. I just want to hear it.
As Shadow takes off his inhibitors, this is who I am, and then he kills Black Doom by strangling him. Or no, he has to karate chop him. Sorry.
Yes, of course. Since their first meeting, the blue blur has been the only one able to keep up with Shadow, a fact that both fascinates and frustrates Shadow. Oh god, this is a yaoi. Oh my god, this is a yaoi.
God, Sonic, you damn nerd. So hot.
Why am I so fascinated by him? Why does he give me a rush? My heart can't take this anymore.
See, when I read this blurb here, this definitely was the part where I was like, okay, you know, they're getting Sonic and Shadow's relationship right, because that is how they were at the end, by the end of SA2.
Yeah, it just didn't sound as yaoi.
Yeah. But,
And has been the driving force to bring out the best in him. Two sides of the same coin, Sonic and Shadow are unfriendly rivals through and through, but they can put their differences aside when the fate of the world is at stake. Oh god, does this mean Sonic's gonna be involved? We'll see. Players will dive into Shadow's dark past to understand his motivations and learn more about him as a character. I guess this means Shadow the Hedgehog will never be re-released. Get fucked.
Neither is Sonic Heroes, to be fair, so, you know.
I'll cry
Yeah,
about
you
that
know
one
what?
later.
Heroes, Shadow, and 06 are never getting a re-release. So this is the only time that they can actually reference stuff from those games and
Yep.
make it, like, story important. So, yeah.
Well, at least outside of 06, Shadow and Heroes have both been brought up recently in the comics and Frontiers.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'll take that. 06 could stay in Generations, though. Unless you want to bring back Mephiles, I'd be okay with that. But we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, the rest of this is just while Shadow goes on a standalone journey that explores his backstory and abilities in a way fans have never seen before. This ultimate celebration of Sonic gaming looks better than ever before with upgraded visuals.
Look at that.
Okay, so confirmed upgraded visuals. Okay, cool.
But
There we go.
But the original game had updated visuals from
Shut the fuck up!
arguably the only stage in Generations that doesn't look like it has updated visuals is Rooftop Run, because technically Unleashed looks nicer.
Well, that's why. I wonder if that's why they added all the balloons and the guillotines to make it look distinct.
Yeah, to make it look more colorful, I think is what they were going for.
Yeah. Either way, I fuck with that aesthetic so hard. So it's gorgeous. I love Jen's Unleashed shit.
Yeah, and also in Izuka's quote here, he says, while pairing a brand new Shadow storyline to cross over with the original story. So I'm wondering if, like, in Generations, like, you have to play through Generations, and then you beat Shadow, and then that's how you access Shadow Generations. Or will it be its own complete separate thing on the title screen, like Bowser's Fury? I don't.
If I have to unlock it by beating Generations, no problem for me.
Yeah.
But I would rather just go straight into it.
Yeah, because...
I'd say, oh, glad. Oh, I have to play Sonic Generations again? Oh,
Oh,
no.
no.
I'm so sad.
Oh, God. Oh, jeez.
Do I have to 100% it first? Yes, I do.
Yes.
Okay, we're doing this. Oh, that is about the extent of what we have for anything official outside of speculation we can bring about. So I suppose we should start wrapping this up. The only thing I want to end with is mainly on the speculation that was happening before this. Like, guys, if it's from a leak and not an official source, please just wait to hear people out. If anything gets announced or not, like, don't go crazy on speculation. Like, you idiots have gaslit yourself so hard with this. Thankfully, it turned out to be true, but, like, just wait. We just got to be patient and see what this is, and hopefully it will be a good product. It might not be. Who knows? Until then, like, please just wait. Don't harass people on social media. Nobody on social media will answer you. Most of them probably aren't going to know the answer. I doubt the Sonic social media team knows too many details about this.
I will
just to avoid leaks. But yeah,
to
I just hope people are more cautious about it.
yeah, to add to that, I do think Sonic fans, when they hear the word remaster, have the a very good reason to be worried, especially
Yes.
after Colors Ultimate and Sonic Origins, like I was talking about. Uh, and nobody really wants a Sonic Generations remaster. Let's be perfectly honest. Like we were talking about earlier, Generations is already a pretty much perfect game. uh
Yeah.
in art style, gameplay, everything it's like the only bad parts of Generations are like the final boss and arguably Planet Wisp. I like Planet Wisp as a stage, but a lot of people don't. And
Yeah.
you know
I just don't like Act One. I like Act Two though.
uh, yeah, Act 1 is definitely the weakest stage in that whole game, but Act 2 is really good.
Yeah. But
but
moving on.
but yeah, anyways, like Generations doesn't need a remaster. It very much feels like they wanted to make a Shadow game, where he goes through his past and everything, but they didn't want to bank on a spin-off by itself, or maybe the game's not big enough, so they just kind of glued Sonic Generations to the side of it to make the
Yeah.
purchase more uh,
I mean, yeah.
acceptable. But
I mean, if this is going to be the equivalent of what Halo 3 ODST was to Halo 3, I'd be okay with that.
mm-hmm,
Where it's a complete game just on the shorter side. The only mistake with that is it was released as its own game. But
mm-hmm.
this being paired with Generations, honestly, it's going to be a pretty good deal. It doesn't, yeah, it doesn't work as well for people, of course, like us who have already played Generations and own it in various ways.
Yeah.
But to new fans, like this, as long as the shadow stuff is handled well, this could be a perfect companion to Generations, because you got Generations introducing you to the legacy of Sonic,
Mm-hmm.
and now you got Shadow Generations introducing you to that legacy as well. It's not as big and hasn't been as touched upon in recent years, but it is a legacy and it is very important for you to know if you want to get into Sonic.
Yeah. It is like Generations is like, arguably people say like, you shouldn't play Generations first because it's a celebration of all the old games and you won't get it. But I would argue it doesn't matter because Generations is just that fucking good of a game. Uh
Fuck you, I played that before SA2 in 06. Like, that's all I can say to
I was
that.
fortunate.
I had no context for those stages, but I loved them anyways.
Yeah. I was fortunate enough to have played through and beaten all, well, not beaten, because for some reason I didn't beat like Sonic Heroes just because it I didn't want to do the 4 playthroughs and all that sort of stuff, and I never
Yeah, but you obviously played Seaside Hill, so don't matter.
yeah. But like I was fortunate enough to have played and beaten pretty much all the games that are featured in Sonic Generations by the time Generations came out, and that did elevate the experience for me because I was like, "Oh my god, they have the attention to detail in Generations is just amazing."
Yeah.
Like they little level design cues from all the original stages are there and accounted for, but used in new and interesting ways.
Yeah.
It's just a good ass celebration game. But even without, if you take away the celebration aspect because you haven't played those games before, it's still some of the best Sonic gameplay you can get in
Uh-huh.
general. It's some of the most polished Sonic gameplay, some of the most high quality level design in Sonic ever. For me, it's like the best looking art style for Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a good ass game. So like, yeah, I think a re-release of Generations is a good idea. Go ahead. And Shadow is the most popular Sonic character other than Sonic. And he is the one with the most story and the most significance in the series. So like, having a companion game to go with Generations to get the backstory of Shadow before everyone goes into the Sonic 3 movie, which is probably going to have a completely different story for him. Not completely different, but
Hopefully
definitely
nothing
different.
with Black Doom.
Yeah.
I don't want him to touch Black Doom.
Yeah. So, you'll get to know the it's weird to say this, but you'll get to know the real Shadow, before all the Sonic 3 movie hype comes in and everything. And I just think this is a really good idea for a release. I'm just really hoping to God they do not delist the original
Yes.
generations. That's the only thing I can take away from this. Is please, for the love of God, don't delist the original generations. Because even if the port or the re-release of Generations itself is not great, at least the original version is still there. But like, yeah, that's literally my biggest takeaway. Please don't delist Generations, and this is the best Sonic release in a while. The best Sonic remaster, quote unquote, release ever.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
No, this would be a great companion to have with Frontiers, bringing in a lot of new fans.
mm-hmm. Yep.
Uh, and Superstars as well, having that there to have a more standard classics
Mm-hmm.
gameplay.
Yeah.
Like, despite those games not being perfect, paired with this, it has a very nice trilogy. And you got Dream Team as well, being more of a spin-off on Apple Arcade, but it's still there.
Yeah.
It is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. And
I
I'm
sorry.
I'm sorry, I kind of did cut you off, but I wanted to say this kind of like Frontiers was this to an extent, but from what we've seen of Shadow Generations, this feels like a gateway back to when you know when back to a time where the Sonic characters had a very uh, like strict identity to them, um, and
Mm-hmm.
like they had very specified and very detailed uh, characterizations that they stuck to in every game, and this feels like we're trending back into that era of sincerity with the storytelling. Starting with Frontiers, going into this, it just feels really good and really awesome that Sonic is getting good, interesting stories again. Like that
Mm-hmm.
makes me so happy, and this whole I'm just gonna Shadow fangasm over this because I love Shadow. I love everything to do with Shadow. I even love the game Shadow the Hedgehog. This trailer just has me so fucking excited.
Yeah.
I'm so I cannot
I
wait for
wasn't
this.
expecting it to be this blatant about it.
I know. Like,
Like this is stuff shit we've been waiting for so long,
yeah,
and it's actually happening.
I know.
All I can hope is that it's great.
I want to put on the record that you were 1,000% right, because this game totally looks like the game where they're gonna reestablish Shadow's character, which is exactly what we
Yeah.
talked about in our Frontiers commentary. So
Let's go.
yeah.
So with that and me being right, I will leave this. I will leave this on one last detail. In the image where Shadow is kicking a laser explosion thingy, if you look at the top right corner of the cloud of mist next to him, it looks like it's replicating his kick, and I can't unsee it.
What are you talking about?
In the image where he's kicking the laser, if you look at the cloud to his left, like the top corner of it looks like his kick.
Okay.
I haven't been able to unsee it for a good long while now, and I had to share
I
that.
don't see it at all.
I will emphasize this in the video.
All right. Well, that's a really random place to end it on, but I think we can be very easily cautiously optimistic about this. I'm hoping that all I need is for the Generations aspect of this to be a faithful re-release, and for them to not delist the original. That's like the only things I need, and this is a
Looking at
great
this,
release.
I'm in about the same place I was when we first talked about Superstars. Uh, I'm generally optimistic. I
Mm-hmm.
think I'm gonna have fun with it.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, that's about all I can say about it.
Yeah.
We just don't really know anything. Very early impressions. Maybe we'll make more videos as more details are revealed.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not though, just because I hope even with because like Superstars, I stopped following it like a month before release and just stopped looking at anything for it, and that's probably what I'm going to do with this.
Yeah. I
Because frankly, I don't want to know. I just want to sit down and be able to play it.
yeah. I'm like I'm like at the point where I really don't want to see any more of this. I just want the game to release and for me to play it.
We got a few months for that though.
I know, like not just a few months. This is releasing in fucking autumn. This is gonna be a
Yeah.
long year.
Yeah.
But I guess since this is happening, maybe look forward to a Sonic Generations and Shadow Generations commentary later this year. Who knows?
All spoilers. We were hoping to get to Adventure 1 first.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's gonna happen now, because god damn it, they keep releasing these stupid games every year now. I can't believe we're at this point again. But holy shit, it's happening, and I am kind of pissed that we started YouTube this year.
We started YouTube in the most busy fucking year for Sonic the Hedgehog, and it's just not gonna stop. Because,
I don't want to be a Sonic YouTuber. I want to talk about other things, but he keeps coming back.
he won't leave us
Shit,
alone.
do we gotta get to SA2 before we get to this game?
I don't know. I don't know what we should do, because I feel like we should definitely save Generations and this till after we've played through most of the games leading up to this. So I don't.
But like, I want to talk about it because it's gonna be new and on our minds.
I know. Maybe we'll just do like an impressions video when the game comes out, and we'll talk about our thoughts on the game. And then we'll save.
No, that's the beta male answer.
But we could save the commentary for when
we are
actually
Sigma
wanna do it.
males. We are going to play SA1, SA2, Heroes, and Shadow before we get to this, so we can have established all potential story content. Only SA1 because Artificial Chaos might be here. Otherwise, I cut out SA1 at this point.
Oh my god, we are not doing all that shit this year.
Not with that attitude.
We can just have this, since we did Dream Team. We can have this and Sonic Adventure. Just that'll be our Sonic content for the year. Easy peasy.
Maybe a 2D game.
Yeah, maybe Sonic 4.
Ugh. I suppose, if it must be done. Alright, we've stalled long enough. We'll see you, hopefully, whenever the next video uploads, because you're subscribed, right?
Please subscribe.
You're subscribed to the new Spotify as well, right?
Oh yeah, we have a Spotify now. You can be listening to this video on there if you're not stupid. So
yeah, if you hate seeing the Discord icons and some lovely Sonic Generations gameplay, head on over to Spotify. You know, YouTube, even if you have premium and shut off your phone, it still streams video. Waste a lot of data.
Yeah.
Spotify, it's just an MP3 file, just saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice and quiet.
Nice and easy, nice and simple.
And if you want to be a real Chad, you watch it on both. And you keep watching it. And you watch all of our old videos too, and you watch them on repeat.
This video.
You like every single one, you comment on all of them, and you support us. Because you're a good boy.
Rate 5 stars. Nobody's gonna get that because everyone's too fucking young.
I get it.
I get it too.
Oh god, I learned who Silver was through Shadow of 759, and I hate myself now.
Oh my god. Man, Shadow 759.
We're old, and we'll leave it
old.
at that.
Go watch the Sonic shorts.
We're getting Volume 9.
I know, I'm so excited. Alright.
And SMBZ.
I know, that's the best. Fuck it, it's peak.
And Nazo Unleashed. Dude, this is the year of Generations.
This is the year of Shadow. Let's not sugarcoat anything. This is the year of Shadow. Like,
I'm here for it.
I'm very much here for it. Shadow's the.
When are we getting that Shadow skin for Superstars?
I'll be showing that off if we ever get a Superstars Plus. So, hopefully never.
All right, I'm gonna end this
All
now.
right, yeah. See you guys.